Good morning, everybody. Matt Moda here to give you my favorite NBA player prop picks. Today, we're talking Sunday, January 12th. I know it is a big NFL day, obviously, with the playoffs, but I really liked the slate of the NBA games that we had today. I actually have 7 picks that I like, which is more than I normally have. I mean, it's a huge card for me, so hopefully I don't get embarrassed by playing this so heavily. So, we're going to have NBA today. The Splash Zone is back in your life. 7 player props for you guys to lock in. 6 of them are plus money bangers, which of course is how we do things here. Real quick, before we get into today's picks, want to do a recap from yesterday, which ended up being a pretty frustrating day overall. 2 of my plays got refunded. DeAndre Ayton got ruled out. The Hawks game just got postponed due to weather. So those 2 just completely refunded. And then of the actual plays that I bet, we did cash out Plumlee and his ladder play, which was nice on his rebounds, but we lost Devin Booker, his main line, and his ladder play. So those 2 not quite evened out because the odds were so good, but up a little bit over a half unit there. And then on the Duren play, he came 1 rebound shy. He ended the game with 9 rebounds, so we got hooked on that bad boy. Would have been an awesome day if he cashed, but he didn't. So we're down about a little over half a unit yesterday. Not terrible, but obviously we want to make money. On this season, we're up a little bit over 8 units. So this hot streak that we had heading into yesterday gave us a nice profit of, again, 8 units on the year, which in January isn't amazing. Where we started definitely feels a lot better. So yeah, that's how the games, that's how the day yesterday went. Before we get into today's picks, just hope you could like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new. And then for today's comment, I forgot to do one yesterday, but I did think of one today. I want to know your favorite ice cream flavor. Mine is mint chocolate chip, with a runner up would be cookies and cream. But to me, nothing beats a nice mint chocolate chip ice cream bowl. I could eat that without any extra chocolate syrup or anything like that. That's my favorite. I want to know your favorite. Go ahead and put that bad boy in the comments. And let's talk about today's betting slate. So the first game, Bucks versus Knicks, I actually do have a couple bets that I liked in this one. So the first one that I locked in here was Josh Hart, and I took him on the rebounds. Now, unfortunately, I locked Josh Hart 10 plus rebounds last night. I was able to get it at plus 160 odds, which was just an amazing price. Unfortunately, that line is no longer available. We can see that it's best offer between minus 115, minus 110. Fliff still has it at 8.5 at minus 140. I believe you can get plus 100 on Fliff, and I would still take it. As long as you can get that plus 100 price, I would still take it. Obviously, you're not getting nearly as good as plus 160. That's unfortunately the nature of the beast with the odds changing. But if you use Fliff, I'm pretty sure, I mean, not pretty sure. Last time I checked, you could get plus 100. So that's what I would lock this in at if you can get that plus 100 price. It's just a play on the number. I mean, the matchup is fine. The matchup against the Bucks isn't scary. But just look at his last 10 games. I mean, he's hit 10 rebounds in 9 of his last 10 games, which, like, you know, I'm not a hit rate person, or I should say I'm not a hit rate only type of bettor. Obviously, the hit rate, you want to know their averages, and that stuff is important. But he's just been rebounding the ball a ton. And what I like to look at are his advanced stats, right? Like, is he getting lucky to get 10 plus rebounds per game? And he's not. I mean, not in a single game has he even landed on exactly 10. When he's gone over, he's had 11 or more rebounds. In the one game he went under, he still had 18 rebound chances. That's a pretty good number for someone like Josh Hart, who doesn't defer a lot of rebounds. So him needing to get 18 rebound chances to get 10 rebounds is completely reasonable. And more often than not, he's having more than that. I mean, just look at his rebound chances his last couple games. 22, 19, 20, 23, and then the 18 one where he went under. 19, 25, 16, so that's low. We would want more than 16. He still got 11 because he doesn't defer any rebounds. 22, 21. So if we just look at games, well, let's just call it 18 rebound chances, which I think he's going to have in the 20s. But if we just call it safe and call it 18 rebound chances, he's hit 10 or more rebounds in 14 of 18 games, averaging 12 rebounds per game. So it's pretty likely he's going to have 18 rebound chances just based on how things have been going for him. And he's hit 10 plus rebounds at almost an 80% rate. Now, he did miss this the first time he played the Bucks. This game was back in November, before his rebounding hot streak really started. They also won that game by 22, and he only played 33 minutes. I say only because if you look at his recent games, I guess this one, they lost by 25, so he only played 30, but like 38, 42, 40. He's normally playing like 35 to 40 minutes, so 33 for him is low. And he only had 16 rebound chances, but I'll take my chances with him. The matchup is not amazing. It's not scary either. Like, 4 of 9 players with his rebounding profile, 9 of 15 with his position have hit this over. I do like the fact that he's not going to get the Damian Lillard or he's not going to get the Karl-Anthony Towns matchup. So they can kind of have him off the ball, guarding one of their non-shooters. Maybe he'll guard Brook Lopez. Not that Brook Lopez is a non-shooter, but he's not really someone that's going to scare you. So he's going to be able to grab all these boards. So Josh Hart, 10 plus rebounds is our first bet. The next one that I locked in here, and I should have mentioned this at the beginning, I'm using Props Madness. Really, really helpful tool. It helps me with my NBA betting incredibly. Check it out. I put a link in the description of the video. And if you do want to sign up, use my promo code just because that helps me out and it helps support the channel. So the next bet that I locked in here was Giannis. Unfortunately, the odds got crushed overnight as well. So I was able to get Giannis over 10.5 rebounds. I was able to get it at minus 120. Now, before I hit record, the best offered price on Giannis over 10.5 was minus 135. I believe that was on FanDuel. And as you can see, FanDuel is not available on this book. So if you can still get the minus 135 number, that's what I would bet. In my opinion, it's not worth taking over 11.5 unless you're getting plus money. So when you're watching this, if you can get over 10.5 for minus 135, I would take it. And if you can get 11.5 for plus money, I would take it. This is another situation where it's really just a play on the number. I mean, he's hit 12 or more rebounds in what's this, like 9 straight games, averaging 13 in that stretch. The 10.5 number was just a bad line. And even at minus 135, it's really, really juiced. I would still take it. It's just a bad line. It's really similar to Josh Hart. Like, there's nothing scary about his rebound chances. And he defers even fewer rebounds than Josh Hart. Like, Josh Hart doesn't defer rebounds. Giannis definitely doesn't defer rebounds. So, 17 rebound chances isn't great. Still got 14 because he doesn't defer. But 21's good. 17 again, not so much. 22 is good. 19 is good. 17, not so much. 18 is fine. Looks like they don't even have a number for this one, but he had 19 rebounds. So his rebound chances must have been high. And then 25, which is amazing. And then only 7 rebounds on 17 rebound chances is an outlier. So, I mean, it's Giannis is similar to Josh Hart. They're not going to put him on the best defender. Like, Giannis isn't going to guard. He's not going to guard Karl-Anthony Towns or Jalen Brunson. They're going to keep him off ball. They're going to let him roam, let him grab rebounds and go. The matchup is fine. 3 of 5 players with his rebounding profile have hit the over. 6 of 11 at his position, which is basically just like power forward or center. So the matchup is fine. His last game against the Knicks, he did hit it, 12 rebounds on 18 rebound chances. That's about what we're looking for, right? If he can get 18 rebound chances, which I'm confident he can get, I'm confident that he'll also get the that'll also get the 11 or 12 plus number, depending on what you bet it at. Like, if you look at games which he's had 18 rebound chances, he's gone 11 or more rebounds in 14 of 15, and he's gone over 11.5 in 11 of 15. So the hit rate stuff is pretty good. The matchup isn't anything to be scared of. So the first 2 bets, admittedly, I like to really dive into the matchups. The first 2 bets that I took is honestly more of a play on the number than it was a play on the matchup. And that's really the only 2 where that's going to be the case. The next one that I took is in this same game. And I took Damian Lillard. I took him 25 plus points. So I was able to get this at plus 105 odds. So the over 24.5. The reason I love Props Madness, but they don't have alternate odds on the website yet. So you can't see the best offered price on an alt number. You can only see 23.5. Now, if you want to take 23.5, get it at minus 115 at Bet365. Anybody that knows me knows I love just pumping it up 1 point, get that plus money price. He's only landed on 24 points, I think, 1 time this entire year. So it's very unlikely. And you can get 20 extra cents of odds. And I actually think when I looked at it this morning, you could actually get plus 120 at BetMGM. I got it at plus 105 when I locked it in, but you can actually get a better price depending on when you watched it. And to me, it makes complete sense to pump this up to 25 plus. I mean, he's landed on 23 a couple times, 23 here, 23 here. More often than not, if he's going over 23.5, he's also scoring 25, right? Again, it's 1 time this year, as you can see, 14 of 24 over 24.5. In this game right here, he landed on 24 points. This is a play on the matchup. For starters, he's averaging 25 points per game basically on the year. He's hit 25 or more points in 14 of his last 24 games. And if we just look at the entire season, he's done it 60% of the time. He's scored over 24.5 points. So, like, that number is great. The matchup is phenomenal. Dame scores, 35% of his points. He spams pick and roll, right? He's one of the best pick and roll guards in the entire NBA. the Knicks, as you can see here, and this is why I love using Props Madness, the Knicks give up literally the most points per game to pick and roll ball handlers. 30 out of 30. That's number one. No team allows more. And players similar to Dame, these heavy pull-up guards, 6 of 11 have hit their point prop over, so 55% hit rate. There's a stretch at the beginning of the year where a lot of them missed, and that included Dame. He missed. Donovan Mitchell got hooked. Trae Young barely went under. But since Halliburton torched them, it's 5 of the last 6. Halliburton, 35. Levine, 31. Murray just hooked the over. Trae just hooked the over. And then Levine again, 33 points. These guards that can run pick and roll and that can pull up from deep, they can have success against the Knicks. And if we look at Dame and we filter this by teams in which he's played bottom 10 guarding the pick and roll ball handler, he scored 25 or more points, 9 of 14 games, almost a 65% hit rate. But more importantly, he's done it in 6 straight games. So he had a lull, from October to for a 3-week stretch where he wasn't scoring that great in these good matchups. Since then, like I said, he's done it in 6 straight. 25 twice, 27, 29, 29, and then over 30, 28. So he's been performing really, really well in these matchups, and he's done it against good defenses in general. Like the Magic, they don't do a great job guarding the pick and roll ball handler, but they're a really good defense. He did it twice against them. And he's done it in the easy matchups too, like the Bulls and the Hawks again and the Pistons. So I love Dame in this game. Also, Dame's one of the best pull-up guards in the NBA, and if you want to know the reason why the Knicks give up so many points to pick and roll ball handlers is because they allow a high frequency of shots via pull-up three-pointers. Now, those numbers are obviously correlated, but Dame shoots like I think he's only behind Lamelo Ball and Luka Doncic in terms of points via pull-ups, and Anthony Edwards as well. And the Knicks are one of the highest teams that allow the highest frequency of shots. So play number 3, Damian Lillard, 25 plus points. That's the first 3 bets. Again, I have a lot today, so I'll go through them as quickly as I can after this. I know it's been long. Vooch, I took him 20 plus points. So normally for Vooch, I want to look at the first quarter. The odds aren't worth it. Like you're only paying minus 130. I need to get that at minus 115 or better for his first quarter point prop, and I don't like taking him over 5.5 or over 6.5, which is what DraftKings is giving you. So I pivoted to the points. This is another matchup play. So I took him 20 plus points. You can get that at minus 115 odds at Bet365. So his main line over under is 18.5. He's landed on 19 actually a couple times. I mean, he's actually done that 4 times. But to me, that's just kind of more noise than anything. If you look at the entire season, he scored 20 or more points. He's averaging over 20 points per game, barely, but just over. And he's done that. He scored that in a little bit under half of his game. So yeah, he has landed on 19 a lot, but that's just more noise than anything. That doesn't scare me off. I love the floor for Vooch. And this is another matchup play. Just look at the Kings defense. So the number one play type in terms of points for Vooch, the pick and roll man. The Kings allow the 4th most points per game to pick and roll man. Number 2, points off of post-ups. The Kings allow the 10th most points per game off of post-ups. Number 1, spot-up shooter. The Kings are literally number 1, allow the most points per game to spot-up shooters. That's the top 3 play types in which Vooch scores his points. Now, transition, sure, they're a good transition defense. That's 12% of his points. That might not be there. Cuts, we don't have any data off of. But free throws, he gets to the line, not a ton. I mean, 2 free throws per game, but they foul at the 5th highest rate in the entire NBA. So 4 of the top 5 play types, the Kings range from the worst, the 4th worst, the 5th worst, or the 10th worst. And if you look at games in which Vooch has played teams that are bottom 10 in terms of guarding the pick and roll man, which is the play type in which he scores the number 1 majority of his points. And I know this is a little bit looking at it a little bit deeper, and also struggle guarding the above the break 3-pointer. As you can see, they allow the 6th most points per game via above the break 3-pointers. That equates to 31% of his shots come from the above the break 3-pointer. He's gone 20 plus points in 4 of 10 games, but 2 separate times he landed on 19, and twice he landed on 18. And he's done it in the last 2 against the Wizards and against the Spurs. So I love this matchup for Vooch. It's kind of funny. He honestly hasn't performed as well as you would expect in the juicy matchups, but averaging 20 points per game or getting it at plus 115 odds, I think that's good to go. That is play number 4. Play number 5, we're heading to the Pelicans versus Celtics game. And we're taking Jason Tatum, and we're taking him on the rebounds. And this is another one that I pumped up to 9.5. So as of right now, every book is giving you 8.5. I took him 10 plus rebounds. I got this at plus 125 odds at ESPN Bet. Now, Tatum, this one, it's not quite a play on the number, nor is it a play on the matchup. It's a play on the situation. You know, he's hit 10 rebounds in 13 of 20 of his last 24 games. If we look at the entire season, he's done it in 16 of 35. So that hit rate doesn't look amazing. You want to know why there's so much more green towards the end of the season? Or, I mean, closer to where we are now, towards the beginning of the season. It all dates back to when Kristaps Porzingis came back into the lineup. But more importantly, we need the Celtics full lineup. So if you look at games in which Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, Derek White, and Drew Holiday, that starting lineup, all played together, Tatum's hit 10 or more rebounds in 7 of 8 games, averaging 12 rebounds per game. The reason why it's so important to have their whole starting lineup together, it's kind of similar to Josh Hart and Giannis. It makes it so Jason Tatum doesn't need to guard the opposing team's best player. So he can back off of them a little bit. And that means he can free to roam, play free safety. He's really good as a help defender. And then also he's free to grab rebounds while the other 4 are boxing out there, but the best matchups. And then he can grab and go. That's the basketball reason why Tatum is so much better when all these guys play together, because it just eases up his defensive matchup. And it also helps when Al Horford is in the lineup as well. Because the one game he missed, he still had 9 rebounds. Granted, he only had 12 rebound chances, so that's not amazing. But Al Horford also missed that game. But the most important thing is these top 4 guys. So rebound chances, you see he doesn't defer a lot. 16, 17, 21 is good. 16, 18, 19, 18. He doesn't defer any of these rebounds because people just kind of know to box out their guy, give them the Jason Tatum. Now the matchup isn't horrifying in this. The Pelicans are a weird team where everybody's been in and out of their lineup. If you just look at raw rebounds given up, they've allowed the 6th most. So they're not a great rebounding team in general. And again, it's just a play because all these guys are healthy for Tatum. So this is play number 5. Jason Tatum, 10 plus rebounds, plus 125 odds at ESPN Bet. Next one, we head over to this Thunder versus Wizards game. And we took Isaiah Hartenstein, and we took him for a double-double. So I took him double-double. This is at plus 105 odds at Bet365. Unfortunately, there's no option to look at odds for double-double. But it's plus 105 odds at Bet365. And again, I'll have a list of all my bets at the end of the video if you just want to screenshot that so you can lock them all in. Hartenstein's been pretty good since he came off of his injury. He scored 10 or more points in about 80% of his games. And he's gotten 10 rebounds in almost the same number, 70, I think exactly the same number, 78% of his games. He's averaging 12 rebounds per game, and he's averaging over 12 points per game. You need to look into a little bit more than that. It's all about the matchup. The Wizards are just an abomination. Now, Hartenstein, there's something going on with his play types where nothing is showing up on NBA.com. What we know is that he's a center, and we know that he scores basically, 97% of his basket 97% of his points in the paint. The Wizards, bottom 10, both in points in the RA and points in the paint in general. Now, we see they're a bad defense. They're bad literally everywhere. But they allow the 4th most points in the paint. That's what if you look at D rank versus DSD, that's defensive rank versus shot zone, defensive rating, they're last. And then PITP, that's points in the paint allowed, 4th most. That's where literally 97% of the points that Isaiah Hartenstein comes from is in the paint. Similar players to the Wizards, this is centers. 10 of 15 have hit their point prop over. And it's guys similar to Hartenstein. Now, Vooch is not. Vooch likes to shoot from deep. But Şengün, he's scoring in the paint. Misi, he's scoring in the paint. Nick Richards is one that missed. Mark Williams hit in that same game. Hartenstein did it earlier this year when he had 16 points against them. And you just go down the list. Centers have a really good game against the Wizards, both from a points and a rebounds perspective. We see 7 of the last 14, but a lot of hooks here. Şengün, 10 rebounds, over-under was 10.5. Hartenstein, 11 rebounds, over-under was 11.5. Jared Allen, 11 rebounds, over-under was 12.5. This was a weird game where he only had 3, but you see the majority of these guys are either hitting their rebound prop over or at least getting double digit. And that's what we need in this one, right? We need him to get 10 plus rebounds and 10 plus assists. It's just a play. We get it at plus money, which is a good price. The Wizards stink at guarding these teams. They allow literally the most rebounds per game. The Wizards, as you can see right here. So Isaiah Hartenstein, he's been really good for them. Again, he's averaging 12 rebounds. He's hit 10 in 78% of his games, and he's done points in the same exact thing, 78% of his games. So that's play number 6. Our final pick of the video. I know this is a long day. heading over to the Suns versus Hornets game. And I'm just rerunning a play that we had last time out. Lamelo Ball, 30 plus points. This is best offered at plus 120 odds at DraftKings. So again, we're taking an alt line here, so this stuff doesn't really help you. Plus 120 odds on him to score 30 plus points. Another situation where I think it makes sense to take the pumped up number as opposed to the 27.5. He's literally never scored 28 or 29 points in a game, right? Like over under 27.5, 15 of 24 games. We changed that over under to 29.5, 15 of 24 games. And this is a play because of the matchup. We literally targeted him last game against the Suns. He scored 32 points and didn't even shoot that well. 5 of 16 from deep, so 30% from deep, 12 of 28 from the floor. So he shot 40% from the floor, 30% from deep, still scored 30 points because LaMelo Ball, the volume is insane and the volume from deep is insane. The reason why this is a play against the Suns, who allow the 7th most points per game to pick and roll ball handlers. As you can see, players similar to LaMelo Ball, 75% of them have hit their point prop over. That's very good, by an average of almost 4 points per game above what their over-under is priced at. That includes LaMelo last time, who went over. It includes Maxey the game before that, who scored 30 points. Then 2 guys missed in a row. And then this is at the beginning of the year, but 4 in a row hit it against the Suns. If we look at games where LaMelo has played teams that are bottom 10 guarding the pick and roll ball handler, which we know the Suns allow the 7th most, he scored 30 points in 9 of 12 games. That's a 75% hit rate. He's averaging 33 points per game, actually closer to 34. And I get that Miles Bridges missed some of these games. So we're going to look at games just with Miles Bridges. It's not quite as good. It's 5 of 8. That's still a 62.5% hit rate, still averaging 30 points per game in those games as well. And the Suns, they're kind of similar to the Knicks. The reason why they allow so many points to pick and roll ball handlers is because they also struggle guarding pull-ups specifically. So if you look, the Suns allow among the highest frequency of pull-up shots in the NBA. And LaMelo Ball literally takes the most pull-up three-pointers in the NBA. He scored the most points off of pull-ups in the entire NBA. Just a perfect matchup for LaMelo Ball, which is why we were on it last time, which is why we are on it this time again. So that's our 7th and final pick of the video. I know we had a lot today. Hopefully I was able to get through it quickly enough. But just to give you guys a recap, it's Giannis over 10.5 rebounds. Either bet it over 10.5 at minus 135 or over 11.5 at plus money. It's Damian Lillard, 25 plus points. It's Josh Hart, 10 plus rebounds. Again, bet that one as long as you're getting plus money on the Hart 10 plus rebounds. And then it's Isaiah Hartenstein, double-double. It's Nikola Vucevic, 20 plus points. It's LaMelo Ball, 30 plus points, and it's Jason Tatum, 10 plus rebounds. I appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Comment. Let me know your favorite flavor of ice cream. Everybody, let's bet responsibly and have a good one.